Alright, well, I have a cat over my shoulder. I have you out there. Thank you very much for your time this evening as we delve deeper into the world of Eberron. We will begin the character creation process randomly as we do. However, we do know that our first character is going to be a shifter. Pardon me. I'm not trying to yawn to make you all yawn out there. Let's roll a percentile and find out if we have a male or a female character. We have a female shifter. There are three different kinds of shifter. There are three like sub-races of shifter in this Wayfinder's Guide. Let's roll a D3 and find out which one she'll be. She'll be Shifter 2. I'm going to put a placeholder there until we get back to that section, which is Chapter 3 in the Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron. Now, we're going to roll 2 percentiles and find out what her alignment will be. 26 and 15, she is a lawful good person. By the way, shifters are medium. We'll just put that up there. Now we will switch this back to 1D100 and find out at which level we will generate this character. With a roll of 66, this is going to be a level 15 character. That means under, well, 11 of the 12 class circumstances, we will be getting 3 stat bumps. 4, 8, 12. And 16, but we're not quite there yet. The exception to that is Fighter. Funny man, oh, you are a time travel. You're a time traveler? And by virtue of you saying that, compromises the future, and yet at the same time, if you didn't say it, you wouldn't have the future that you came from, and therefore nothing actually changes, and hence my argument against time travel and why I think it's bonkers. My personal distaste for time travel. Serious, I mean. Like things like Doctor Who, Back to the Future. Those are just, they're supposed to be kind of fun, nonsensical sci-fi romps. That's fine. But in my opinion, time travel and seriousness, no bueno. With a roll of a 37, nope. Stat gains all the way. Now we're going to roll a 13-sided die and figure out what her background will be. 9. She is an Outlander. And Outlanders have 10 different origins. We're going to roll for that next. 6. What is Outlander number 6? I don't know. It's a placeholder. We'll determine that in a little bit. You know what? It's not even mustache wax this time, Pi. It's just things have been busy this summer, and in good ways. I'm not complaining, but it does kind of, wonk with a sleep schedule and activity. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll still take any sort of like wake up juice or anti-lavender counter additives or something. Thank you for that, Pi. Here's her personality traits. Well, we have 5 and 5. Let's get something a little bit more unique. Another 5 and another 5. Whatever 5 is, she is 5 for days. This is definitely her dominant personality trait. There we go. There's another one. 3. Then we have a 5, a 1, and a 6 for her ideal, bond, and flaw. Nope, the cat's back. You didn't find it, did you? She's looking everywhere for this ring. Is it over here? Is this a ring? Right here? Is it? She's investigating. Is this a ring? Oh, there's a ring over here, isn't there? Look. What's this? What's this? Sniff, sniff? Sniff, sniff, sniff? Okay. What a weirdo. Now it's time to roll the big golden D12 and find out which class our shifter will be. 3. We have a cleric. And there are 7 different domains. We will choose one of the 7 randomly. Let's see. Domain 2. A life cleric. Funny man, see, I believe in the possibility of time travel without paradox because of the possibility of branching streams of reality. Timelines parallel yet varied. No! No, funny man, no! Okay. Height, weight, and everything. Pardon me. That's in the Eberron guide. But we can roll for where she is in her life cycle. We're going to roll a percentile. 22. She is a young adult. And so we'll just make a note of that here. And then we'll see how long shifters live when we get to the Eberron guide. Now that we have mostly finished, probably finished, with our random roll guide, we'll minimize it. Hey, Paisy. And we will now add an Eberron flair to really translate these characters further from the generic player's handbook into the world of Eberron. Paisy, did you roll 5 twice for the same option? If so, I'd love to see you simply pick 5 as the trait and simply double down on it. That trait, but more. If it says that they're afraid of the ocean, you extend it to running water generally. So that's an option, Paisy. I mean, I guess we'll see what 5 is, and maybe we can go with that. I generally like having 2 different ones for our exercises we perform here, but you know what? We rolled 5 on a D8 4 times. So again, whatever 5 is, that's definitely her dominant personality trait. I have some nice peach tea. Now, in this Eberron guide, there are ways to give your backgrounds, pardon, a little bit more of a presentation. Why are you in the large city of towers of Sharn? Right? If you want to run like a big urban campaign. And that's what we're going to be doing for tomorrow's presentation of a campaign. All 13 of the backgrounds are here. And we're going to go to Outlander and find out why our Outlander would be coming to Sharn. Here's a D4 and roll it. Option 4. So in backstory, we're going to put Outlander 4. You are an exile from your homeland. Did you commit a terrible crime? Was your tribe... Pardon me. Come on. I'm yawning and coughing. This is very unprofessional. Was your tribe wiped out in a feud? Are you following a divine vision? That's just how much I disagree, Zuler Pie. And it's a good guess that the other parallel Maddies don't bring up enough munchie to share either, says Diadems. We'll continue. Now, another way that Eberron, to get you into this mood that things are maybe a little bit more pulp, a little bit more noir, maybe a little bit more gritty, is it recommends that your character can start with some kind of a regret. A regret or a debt of some kind. We made one regret and one debt. One regret and one debt last night. We're going to do the same tonight. So let's go up to the charts here. And let's give our shifter a regret. There are 10 different ones on this table. 5. She has regret 5. You squandered your family's fortune and brought shame and ruin to your household. Maybe that bleeds into why into our Outlander. Why did we come to Sharn? We have this tremendous regret. How are we going to make up for this? Maybe a divine vision. Maybe we're coming to seek repentance with some major, some major faith that's located in the city. Now, there is another chart that you can follow. For example, military backgrounds. If you participated, in the last war, which was a major civil war that only ended 2 years ago in the campaign timeline, what did you do during the war? If this was a soldier of some kind, we didn't really roll that she was, but look, almost all the backgrounds have an extra military flavor. As we are an Outlander, let's see, do we have one here? Okay, Outlander does not have a representation on the military background, but soldier, sailor, soldier, noble, charlatan, entertainer, acolyte, sage, criminal or charlatan, folk hero, noble. Diadems, you're saying, you're thinking that the terrible crime and the divine vision are tied together. Maybe we saved or sacrificed someone that that should have been, at least to us, but everyone else thought not, and we had to flee because we actually did something for a greater good that we, may not come true until the end of the campaign. Something like that. That could be an interesting idea. Okay. We're going to fast forward and come down to chapter 3. By the way, here are some of the distant faiths. This can have an influence. Obviously, we have a cleric character. And in fact, we also rolled up an acolyte, too. Specifically for what we're doing tonight, we don't have to talk about the specifics of the religions, but we can. But to keep things moving, Kalishtar and Shifters, here we go. We're going to come back to this in just a moment. As we do, here's Chapter 4, and let's find out what being an Outlander itself is going to bring our character. Hermit Outlander. We have skill proficiencies in athletics and survival. We have a tool proficiency in some kind of a musical instrument. And we get a language of our choice. So we're going to put Outlander, and that shows that we're getting it from our background. We are going to get a quarterstaff, a hunting trap, a trophy from an animal you killed, a set of traveler's clothes, and a belt pouch, which contains 10 gold pieces in it. Now, here is our origin. This is where this number 6 comes into play as an Outlander. We are a bounty hunter. Outlander bounty hunter. Who is a cleric of life. Our feature is Wanderer. You have an excellent memory for maps and geography, and you can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around you. In addition, you can find food and fresh water for yourself and up to 5 other people each day, provided that the land offers berries, small game, water, and so forth. This cleric may have given all the family wealth to the wrong church. Ooh, that could be. And it would bring in a little bit of intrigue, right, Diadems? Causing exile. So we have shame and debt. Someone who's maybe even questioning her faith. Why do I still have these powers if I've betrayed the people that I love? Funny man, you want her to know how to play the viola? Okay, now we are going to square these Eberron-inspired personality or background traits with her with what she gets out of the player's handbook. Paisley, we rolled 5 on an 8-sided die 4 times. Let's check out what this personality trait is that fate itself seemingly wanted it this badly. I place no stock in wealthy or well-mannered folk. Money and manners won't save you from a hungry owlbear. Aha! So, maybe the squandering of the family's money is something along the lines of what Zulerpai was talking about. Maybe she got on a bit of a religious bend and saw that her family were wealthy sinners and that, poor were suffering, or that the money could be put to use in some other way. And so here we have a young woman who is caught up in these ideals, in some sort of a fervent feeling of belonging to a community or wanting to help. And so she is committing herself to, or in this case, I guess she committed her family's wealth, and that has caused her to get kicked out of her own family and almost sent on some kind of a pilgrimage of sorts. Now, how do we square up being a bounty hunter in this as well? Well, do all bounty hunters just hunt criminals? Not necessarily. If you want to be a type of bounty hunter, you could recover lost children, lost pets, lost things. A bounty hunter is traditionally someone who recovers someone else and receives a reward. I guess in a very loose term. So she doesn't have to necessarily track down criminals, or maybe what if she tracks down heretics of the faith and brings them in for, spiritual cleansing or spiritual justice? She is lawful good. She will follow the methodology. Bubonic, next week we are going to Next week, we're going to use the other races and dragon marks. This week, we're going to make a party of 4 using the 4 unique races. Next week, we'll make a traditional party of 5. And if we come up with one of the characters or several who can have a dragon mark, we will incorporate dragon marks in next week's party. And personality trait number 3. I once ran 25 miles without stopping to warn my clan of an approaching, we'll just say event, a horde, an attack, a storm, I don't know, something. I'd do it again if I had to. So her family kicked her out, but she would still step up and warn them, or otherwise she still is feeling connected, even though that she has been shunned specifically by her family. Hi, Tracy. Good to see you. Fluffy Koala, on a failed command, you still have to wait the cooldown. Unfortunately, that's just how the bot works. Hey, Technotron, you're very welcome for the host, and thank you for giving Madden some further advice and just hosting an otherwise awesome and creative stream per normal. Her ideal is number 5, nature. The natural world is more important than all the constructs of civilization. And you say, hang on, she's a life cleric, not a nature cleric. How does that work? There's life in nature. Nature is very much, I mean, it's about a process. Nature is more of a process than just a noun. But she can still favor life, help things come to life, restore life, regenerate, etc. Her bond is 1. Or maybe she was radicalized by druids or something. My family, clan, or tribe is the most important thing in my life, even when they are far from me. And it sounds like that's the case. She still loves her family, but her family doesn't seem to love her back, creating a schism. And this is a very good and compelling roleplay mechanic to bring into a campaign. Funny man, what were the first 2? I ordered it, but don't have it yet. What do you mean the first 2, funny man? Zuler Pie says tracking down heretics would make sense. Also, the animal part could be cat guts to make bowstrings. Speaking of cat guts, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't have the ring. I can't throw it. And you don't seem to have the ring either. I don't know what she wants. I mean, I know what she wants. I just can't do it. And finally, her flaw is number 6. Don't expect me to save those who can't save themselves. It is nature's way that the strong thrive and the weak perish. So she has this strong conviction. And you may say, whoa, our party cleric isn't going to bring us back to life or heal our injuries? Well, she's not going to unless you're stepping up and showing that you're worth it. You have to prove that you are worth this blessing of life. Right? That follows a methodical conviction that you could find in a lawful good alignment. that can follow along these other roleplay prompts. I think we have a very interesting and deep character, and we haven't even dropped in anything else: race, class, etc. All right, so here we go. This is our background and as well our bridge into Eberron with our Outlander motivation, and specifically, we have a regret that we carry. We can carry a regret and firm conviction at the same time. There's nothing saying that we can't, because then it's up to us to have to choose, and maybe we don't want to choose. Choosing between family, you know, they're there, they exist, they brought you into the world, they clothed you, fed you, sheltered you. Or choosing between your faith, which, yes, it does have, you know, magical manifestations. But what is more important, your personal faith or your family, when each of them seem to be incompatible with each other? Oh, the first two races we made a changeling and a Kalishtar. Tonight, we're going to make a shifter and a warforged. You'd have so much fun role-playing this character. Yeah, and as Zulerpai says, it's a very conflicted... Look, we have a young woman, right? She's finding herself in the greater world. She's on a pilgrimage. She's been exiled by her family, her biological family, yet seemingly accepted into this metaphorical family of her faith. She loves both. She still loves her family, and she definitely loves her faith. But how do you square that? How do you square that circle? This is a conflicted character. This is a character of great depth, and you know what? As she exists for you as a PC, not only could this be a lot of fun to play, put your DM cap on. As a DM, just by the presence of this one character, there is so much that exists now in your campaign world that your PC is just giving you. You don't need to sit down, you know, over long nights in the 24/7 diner, you know, sipping water and, you know, chewing on mozzarella sticks for an hour or whatever, scratching your head going, oh, I don't have anything. This PC alone is giving you a ton of content. All right, now we're going to go over to the Wayfinder's Guide. And here we find in Chapter 3, Shifters, being the third of the 4 races presented. Shifters are sometimes called the Were-Touched, as many believe that they are the descendants of humans and lycanthropes. They are humanoids with a bestial aspect. While they cannot fully change shape, they can temporarily enhance their animalistic features, a state they call shifting. Whatever their origins, shifters have evolved into a unique race. A shifter walks on the knife's edge between the wilds and the world around them. Do they embrace their primal instincts or the path of civilization? Early in childhood, a shifter forms a bond with a beast within, a totemic force that shapes their body and mind. Some shifters believe that these spirits are independent entities, and they may speak of bear or wolf as ancestors or guides. Most just see the beast within as a formidable expression of their inner nature, something that emerges over time as the shifter's personality takes shape. The beast within is a pool of powerful instincts, and its influence is revealed by a shifter's personality. A feline shifter may be cool and distant, driven by predatory instincts, while a shifter with a lupine spirit is drawn to find and protect a pack. When a shifter fully embraces this beast within, they physically transform for a short time. The beast within is reflected by the shifter's subrace. 4 subraces are especially common. Oh, I'm sorry, I think I only did a D3 instead of a D4. Let me go and double check. Yes, I did. I only did a D3. So I'm going to roll a d4 instead, and this is going to end up being... which kind of a shifter we are, because there's 4 racial subtypes. Unfortunately, Koala, I do not have a 229-sided die for you. There it goes. 13 plus 2 is 15. Koala, congratulations. You managed to get out of the way of the bat swarm. Funny man, I agree. So much fun to play or DM. I can't wait to find a new group. Oh, did your oh, it is at disadvantage. That's right. Fluffy Koala. Fluffy Koala. Yeah, go ahead and roll. If you're ever prompted to roll at advantage or disadvantage, the command prompt is exclamation point 2d20. I already gave you that because I'm on duty of both EXP and of we're going over a character creation. Hey, Doomfish. Hi, Katie Sue. How did your all session end up? Thank you very much for that raid. Rah! Thank you very much for that. Also, Diadems went on an adventure too. Let's see, a falling rock. And stops on a 1, and yes, Diadems got squished. Stops on a 12. Okay, even with the disadvantage that you had, you still managed to defeat the bat swarm, Fluffy Koala, so hang on to those experience points. You still earned them. Yeah, everything is going well here. We are making a shifter character out of the new 5e supplement, Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron. You're doing a cooldown? All right, hey. Thank you very much for even visiting at all, let alone if it's on a cooldown or whatever's going on. Everyone, Katie did post that she was hosting a game. And put that in our Twitch promotion channel. Go check it out. It was a lot of fun to watch. Very very fun and dynamic. Good group. Good group. Well, Doomfish, you can roll some 20s and go on adventures here in our chat as well. All right, here's our D4. This is our shifter subrace. 2 was meant to be. Even when I made the mistake and I rolled a D3, shifter number 2 it is. We are making a Longtooth shifter. So with that in mind, by being a shifter, our dexterity score increases by 1. So I'm going to put that down here. Yes, no space. Daily goes into a dungeon. Ooh, you set off an alarm. You have advantage daily, so exclamation point 2d20. Let's see. Age. Shifters are quick to mature both physically and emotionally, reaching young adulthood at age 10. They rarely live to be more than 70 years old. So if she's a young adult, she is probably, I don't know. Let's roll a 6-sided die, 1 being 10, and we'll bring her all the way out to 15. 3. So she is a young adult at 12 years old. Shifters range from 5 to almost 7 feet tall, depending on their subrace. So I guess we can pattern her after the animal that we want to give to her. Your base walking speed is 30 feet. So there's our 30, our 15, our 15, and our 0. We do have 60 feet of dark vision that we'll fill in here at the top. Keen senses. You have proficiency with the perception skill. Here we go. Daily rolls 2d20, 18 and 17. Nice. Even if you had disadvantage, you easily deactivated the alarm. Add points. Daily 250. We get an ability called shifting. I mean, look, we're shifters, right? As a bonus action, you can assume a more bestial appearance. This transformation lasts for 1 minute. Might as well be an entire combat, given that most combats are over in a minute. I'm not complaining. This transformation lasts for 1 minute until you die or until you revert to your normal appearance as a bonus action. When you shift, you gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus your constitution modifier, minimum 1. You also gain additional benefits that depend on your shifter subrace as described below. Once you shift, you can't do so again until you finish a short or a long rest. Languages, we can speak the common tongue. And then for being an Outlander as a background, that's what this is signifying up here. Then we have our subrace, and we rolled that we are going to be a Longtooth. Of the 4 shifter subraces, we rolled 2. Longtooth shifters are fierce and aggressive, but they form deep bonds with their friends. Many Longtooth shifters have canine traits that become more pronounced as they shift, but they might instead draw on tigers, hyenas, or other predators. Your strength score increases by 2 as a Longtooth. So Dex 1, Strength 2. Fierce, you have proficiency with the intimidation skill. And here's our shifting feature. While shifted, you can use your elongated fangs to make an unarmed strike as a bonus action. If you hit with your fangs, you can deal piercing damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier instead of the bludgeoning damage normal for an unarmed strike. So, she's a biter. We'll just summarize it as that. We have a shifting feature of a bite attack. In fact, we can even put that over here. Shifted bite. This is going to be 1d6, and this is going to be off of strength. So is our quarterstaff too, by the way. However, quarterstaff is 1d8. 1d8 versatile, because you can two-hand it. There we go. This is what we get for being a shifter. Now it is time. We've examined our background. We've translated it into Eberron, and specifically, why is she coming to the city of Sharn? S-H-A-R-N, Sharn. We have given her racial features. Now, let's hop back over to our player's handbook and find out what she gets for being a level 15 Cleric of Life. Right here. Our proficiency bonus is +5. Let's see, we'll actually be getting Channel Divinity. Destroy undead at CR3 or less. We will know 5 cantrips. 1, a 2, a 3, 4. Ha, combo break. and 5. Our spell slots, and by the way, this is why I love this modified character sheet we have. It puts a ton of relevant information right there for you on the first page. Easy to read. 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. Here's our channel divinity, and we can do this twice per day. Also, as a feature of this alternate character sheet, if you have something like lay on hands, bardic inspiration, sorcery points, or whatever, you can put that here next to your spell save and your attack modifier. Well, you see, King, healing as a cleric, you can make the argument, if you're healing as a cleric, you're not doing it right. If you're damaging as a cleric, damage is proactive healing. Enemies who fall down and stop moving can't continue to damage your party. Now, of course, I play a white mage in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm used to actually dealing damage in dungeons and other, because you're expected to deal damage and weave in your cure spells as needed. We are a D8 hit die class. As we're level 15, we have 15 D8. Let's see. We have armor proficiencies of light and medium, as well as shields. We are proficient with all simple weapons. No tool proficiencies. Our saving throw proficiencies are wisdom and charisma. So we're going to fill in. I'll zoom in a little bit here. You see the diamonds next to where it says saving throw underneath each ability? So we fill that in. Then we're going to choose 2 skills from history, insight, medicine, persuasion, and religion. Given how much her religion means to her based on her background, I highly suggest that we make one of her 2 skills as religion. Though, let's look at the background for further inspiration. What else would she take? Right? We're exiled from our homeland. Did we commit a crime? Was our tribe wiped out in a feud? Are we following a divine vision? Our regret is that we squandered our family's fortune and brought shame and ruin to our household. So we've been banished by our household. That's why we're coming to Sharn. We still love our family. We hold them very dearly, and so we have a conflicted character. Is her faith or her family more important? She is, don't expect me to save those who can't save themselves. It's nature's way that the strong thrive and the weak perish. Nature. The natural world is more important than all the constructs of civilization. I place no stock in wealthy or well-mannered folk. Money and manners won't save you from a hungry owlbear. What you could argue, because you could normally take history as a cleric, if you're playing this character and I was your DM, you came up and said, look, these are my circumstances. She is very natural. Can I replace history with nature? It's still an intelligence check. Can I replace history with nature instead? I would most likely tell you yes, given the circumstances. Although, if we wish, we can, if we didn't want to make that consideration and just take nature, and we see what we have down here, right? Insight, medicine, persuasion. Maybe she uses nature in a medicinal fashion. And so we won't give her the nature, but I'll prompt you to ask your DM out there in this circumstance. But maybe we could give her medicine as a skill. Or, barring that, is she sent out? Is she trying to persuade people to join this religion or cult or whatever you want to consider it to be? King says, I just do all the sub-level 30 dungeons with my fairy out and don't ever press a button besides /follow. That's... the extreme, yeah. I mean, look, because it is sub that. If you really wanted to, I mean, look, it could probably cut off a couple minutes of a dungeon run. If you're sitting there as a scholar and you're casting, like, Ruin or whatever. It can help. But, I mean, yeah, in a sub 30, you know. Okay, here's our equipment. A mace or a warhammer if proficient. As we get our cleric domain at level 1, let's take a little peek ahead and see if the life domain does grant us any weapon or armor proficiencies. There's knowledge, and here is life. Bonus proficiency. When you choose this domain at first level, you gain proficiency with heavy armor. Alright, so we are going to get... armor is going to be all in shields. And we're going to come back up here then. So we will start with a mace. We will start with, let's see, scale mail, leather armor, or chainmail, and we are proficient with heavy armor, so we can start with chainmail, which is going to give us a nice 16 AC. A light crossbow bolt, or a light crossbow and 20 bolts, or any simple weapon. I don't know. She can bite. She has a mace and a quarterstaff. Would she take a light crossbow? Or is there another weapon that she'd take in some form or fashion? Her family... King, so wait, she ruined her family by spending their money, but also her personal philosophy is don't save those that can't help themselves. Her family must hate her. Oh, you got this god now and you don't need to starve in the street? Wonderful. Hey, Seraph! Welcome! Yeah, she's a very conflicted young character. Look, King, she's only 12. Now, in shifter culture, she's a young adult by this age. So I guess presumably in her tribe, her family or clan or whatever, you know, maybe she's had access here, but she has allowed the family fortune to be spent. That could be monetary. That could be political capital or some sort of influence that has been breached. Or, you know, money or trade goods spent. So she has been exiled, but she still loves her family, even though they don't seem to love her back. But she also loves this life that she's pursuing, and she's pursuing it with very firm conviction. Yep, we are running or we're manufacturing a shifter character. Yep, in their biology and society, that is a young adult. They reach young adulthood at 10. And so I said, all right, let's roll a d6. She's between 10 and 15 years old. And I rolled a 3, and so we got 12. Because they also don't seem to naturally live much beyond 70. So that means they're really kind of getting old, and they're getting old in the tooth. In the Longtooth, I guess, in this case. They're getting old in the Longtooth. 50. 60, most of them are probably dead. 70. If you make it the 70th birthday, congratulations, grandpa or grandma, or even great-grandpa or grandma by that point. You are super venerable at 70 years old. No, in the context of their biology and society, it isn't, Seraph. You know what? Let's give her... What could be beneficial? A light crossbow and 20 bolts or any simple weapon. She's an Outlander. She's a... Oh, and by the way, as an Outlander, she is specifically a bounty hunter. So she does make it a point to, maybe she's been radicalized by her faith, and she hunts heretics or people who've duped the church, or you know, so a bounty hunter doesn't have to work for a legal institution in a civilization. In the concept of a bounty hunter, you go out and retrieve people, or you know, if it's not even hunting down heretics, she could just almost be a private investigator, you know, finding lost children. As a bounty hunter, if she has been radicalized, or if she is an evangelist style, as a bounty hunter, you go out and try and recruit people to your faith, right? You track people down. You try and influence key decision makers with this divine knowledge. And so, in a sense, you could have her as a bounty hunter, not just be a law person, but could be an evangelist, could be an inquisitor of sorts. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, instead of Boba Fett, Boba Shift. So consider that too. These prompts you get out of the player's handbook, or even out of the Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron, you can take them literally if you'd like, or you could use them as a springboard into other thoughts to develop your character and round them out. Seraph. That's right. No one expects the Shifter Inquisition. Especially because, look, she has intimidation. And persuasion. Alright, so we gave her chainmail. Let's give her a... she has a quarterstaff. When she's shifted, she can bite for a natural bonus action attack. So, when she's shifted, she could bonk people with a mace and bite them if she's in melee combat. And we'll give her something. We'll give her something ranged. We'll give her a throwing hammer, or a light hammer. Or actually, wait. Alright, so that's piercing. We don't have a slashing. So maybe instead of the light hammer, do we have a... Oh, a hand axe. Plus, you'd need a hand axe if you're out in the wilds, you know, like a hatchet to cut wood and such. So we'll have it be a hand axe and give her some slashing damage instead. That's still a thrown weapon, meaning she can use her strength. We're going to make a strength cleric, for sure. We will also be giving her... I think she's definitely going to take the Priest's Pack. She wants to make notes. She wants to, you know, to track people down. The Priest Pack carries all kinds of things for rituals and note-taking and books, etc. And finally, a shield and a holy symbol. And we'll indicate she has a shield up here with this little addition to the armor class area of the character sheet. Hey, Spillheart, good to see you. Welcome. Spellcasting we will do last because that requires some ability scores, and that's really one of the last things that we drop into a character. Don't ever forget that. Ability scores are important, but ability scores are not your character. Alright, so we have our domain. We are the life domain. We can channel divinity here. We get turn undead, which actually is transformed into destroy undead by at a certain level, and by 15th level, we destroy undead that are a challenge rating of 3 or less. Right? So that happens here at 5th level. You see right here? We also get divine intervention, which allows us to pray to our patron deity or matron deity for some kind of Well, interaction. For a clue, a revelation, one more spell slot of a particular level. A miracle. It's a good way to interact with your DM and have some interesting quirks on a story. Caden, thank you very much for that host. Spillheart, you said you're no longer number 2 or 3. What do you mean? Alright, so now we're going to go over to Life Domain. As a part of being in the Life Domain, you are going to get some domain spells. These are spells that you already know and will not count against you, or will not count against any other spells you can memorize for the day. If you don't know what that means, hang in there, and we'll get to Cleric spellcasting. Let's see. We had 5 cantrips. And these domain spells go all the way up to 5th level. So we have Bless and Cure Wounds, Lesser Resto, and Spiritual Weapon. Beacon of Hope, Revivify, Death Ward, Guardian of Faith, Mass Cure Wounds, and Raise Dead. Not too bad for some spells you always have access to, huh? This is our proficiency with heavy armor, and we also get an ability called Disciple of Life. Your healing spells are more effective. Whenever you use a spell of 1st level or higher to restore hit points to a creature, the creature regains additional hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level. We're going to get our 2nd channel divinity feature of Preserve Life. As an action, you present your holy symbol and evoke healing energy that can restore a number of hit points equal to 5 times your cleric level. Choose any creatures within 30 feet of you and divide those hit points among them. This feature can restore a creature to no more than half of its hit point maximum. You can't use this feature on an undead or construct. Yep, sorry, Warforged. We are also going to receive Blessed Healer. The healing spells you cast on others heal you as well. When you cast a spell of 1st level or higher that restores hit points to a creature other than you, you regain hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level. That means if you want to be in the front lines and you want to take hits, you'll get a 2-for-1 healing effect. You can very much be a frontline cleric. King had to step away, so you're telling me that there's a race of 12-year-old lolly shapeshifters who can look like anything you want. And this was okay by Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, well, I don't know, this is technically a prototype. It's kind of like an expanded Unearthed Arcana at this moment, but it can become official. Although, honestly, King, this isn't really that far removed from Dragonborns, as it says that Dragonborns reach physical maturity around 2 years old. So after they're born or hatch or however you want it, we can have a whole discussion on live birth Dragonborn versus egg-born Dragonborn. Why do Dragonborns exhibit mammalian traits, to put it in a family-friendly context? Why do Dragonborn have mammalian traits and lizard folk don't? Well, I guess shapeshifters would provide a good service to those in need for some variety. Jeez, Sarah. The pun was the thing that Wizard let happen. Hey, there you go. Although, do we speak of 3rd edition? I mean, we should. It's a venerable system. I have a lot of good memories in it. We also get Divine Strike. At 8th level, you gain the ability to infuse your weapon strikes with divine energy. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can cause the attack to deal an extra 1d8 radiant damage to the target. When you reach 14th level, the damage increases to 2d8. Divine Strike. And we're not quite high enough for Supreme Healing, so there we go. Now that we have all of our information needed, we've built the chassis of our character. Let's drop the engine in it, right? We'll put a Hemi in it. We use the standard array 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8 in order to fuel our abilities. Your DM might use the point buy system or might have you roll for it. It's up to her or him. Wisdom as a cleric is a key stat. That is your spellcasting stat. She probably would want her wisdom to be high in order to be very powerful, right? Especially because she holds these firm convictions, right? She follows her faith and it has caused a schism with her family. Can you run a cleric that has low wisdom? Yes, you can. People at your table might grumble. There's nothing saying you can't run a cleric 12, 13, 14 wisdom and you don't take it any higher. You may not get as many spells or as powerful spells, but many spells don't require a save. It's just an effect. Many spells, you might say, well, what's the difference between curing 1d8 plus 3 and 1d8 plus 4? I want to roleplay someone who has a middling wisdom, like enough to have gotten through seminary school and achieve their robes and their holy symbol. But I want a super charisma or a super strength cleric. You can do that. You can get away with that. In fact, we're going to have kind of a high wisdom, high strength, right? If we put our 14 up here, plus her racial modifier, that's going to give her a 16 strength at level 1. Let's see. So that's our 15, 14. If she is going to be on the front lines, we should probably give her a 13 in con. Intimidation and persuasion. Maybe a 13 charisma, a 12 con. So we have our 15, 14, 13, 12, 10 intelligence, and an 8 dexterity. She's not very nimble, but she doesn't have to be. She is a force. This character is a force to be reckoned with, offensively and as a support character. Heck, even defensively. We've pretty much made a paladin, if you think about it. Her armor class out the gate at level 1 is 18. 16 from chainmail plus 2 from a shield. No, Seraph, you're fine. Don't worry about it. This shifter can only shift to one of 4 alternate. Yeah, so what we would do is in the theme of a Longtooth style shifter, the Eberron guide recommends something lupine, or that they run in a pack, or that they're aggressive. In fact, we can come up here. They're fierce and aggressive, but many form deep bonds with their friends. Many Longtooth shifters have canine traits that become more pronounced as they shift, but they might instead draw on tigers, hyenas, or other predators. Or you know what, too? Look at social animals like, especially ones with long teeth. What about something like a capybara? Or this says predator. A capybara or even a guinea pig. What if as a Longtooth, instead of mammalian, what if we go reptilian with a shifter? Would she grow or have more pronounced scales? Would she have a maw full of teeth like a crocodile? There's nothing that is specifically telling you mammalian. Now, the art implies it, the words imply it. And here we can have a conversation of rules as written, raw, or rules as intended, rye. Raw versus rye. That's a whole other conversation, though, that we can have. What if you want to go avian and you want Longtooth? Well, if that's kind of a bite attack, what if it's something, I don't know, like some kind of bird of prey? And when you shift, you get that beak and you snap, snap, snap with your beak. Yeah, a wolverine or a badger. Possibly. Tasmanian devil. Zulurpai Komodo dragon is the alternate shape? Yeah. Because it's giving you some outlines, right? For your culture and for your look. Are fierce and aggressive, but they form deep bonds with their friends. Many Longtooth shifters have canine traits that become more pronounced as they shift, but they might instead draw on tigers, hyenas, or other predators. What would be a predatory animal that fits this definition? And think too. Look at swift stride. They're graceful and quick, typically feline in nature. Swift stride shifters are often aloof and difficult to pin down physically or socially. Could that very well be... actually, I even think it says somewhere above. A swift stride could be something like a rat. Not just a cat, but a rat. Something that is that's graceful and quick. What if you are some kind of a crane, or some other kind of a bird? What would be a graceful and quick swift stride? How about one of those lizards that kind of frill up and run, or that can even run across water or whatever? You want to go for a reptilian shifter? The book doesn't say that you can't. This is the Munchkin fallacy. I can because the rules don't say that I can't. One more time, this is the Munchkin fallacy, and be very careful with this. I can because the rules don't say that I cannot. Beast hide. Shifters typically tied to bear or the boar, but any creature known for its toughness could apply. If you want maybe an alligator up here, you want to be reptilian for a beast hide. You want, do you want an elephant style shifter? Elephants could be beast hides. Right? Draw strength and stability from the beast within. A rhinoceros shifter? Have fun with it. Talk to your DM. Bring some flavor. So anyway, we have a Longtooth. What kind of a Longtooth aspect would you like her to have? Adding in our racial stats, that's our starting 16 there and a 9 in Dex. We're going to get 3 ability score improvements. 1 at 4, 1 at 8, 1 at 12. We could probably do a 1 and 1 here and bring up wisdom and charisma. So there's one of our 3. And you know what? We could probably just Number 2 goes into wisdom, and number 3 goes into strength to round her out. With those final scores, and if you have a different proposition for her, lay it out in chat. I'd love to know what you're thinking. With this current one, this would give her a 4 strength, -1 dex. This would give her a +1 con, 0 int, 4 wisdom, 2 charisma. And now, well, she's also earned a name. So I want to know, how are you conceptualizing this shifter? When she transforms, or even when she's not transformed, what are some aspects that she shows? And then how do those aspects get defined when she shifts her shape? Strength saving throw is 4. Athletic skill is 9 because we're proficient, so we add our +5 proficiency. Taking this same... Well, we're just going to copy-paste dexterity all the way down. Constitution save is 1. Int is zeros down the line with the exception of religion, and she has studied religion exclusively, and so she's pretty decent at religion, maybe not a whole lot else. Wisdom saving throw is 9, as well as a perception and a survival, and 4 animal handling, insight, and medicine. Yes, she is very much a warrior cleric. Very much a warrior cleric. I bumped my camera over here. Charisma saving throw is 7. Intimidation is 7. Persuasion is 7. Deception is 2. Performance is 2. Initiative is going to be -1 because that's a dexterity check, and our mod just goes over into it. Our passive perception is 19. It's 10 plus your perception modifier, and that represents how naturally aware you are of the world around you. Sights, smells, sounds, etc. Diadems, you want to name her Meryl Saberclaw? Call her Joan Dork. The latter for losing her family's money. Yeah, no. I gotcha. Well, if her family name is Saberclaw, what are you conceptualizing her Longtooth animal, her animal spirit, her intrinsic lycanthropy to be, or to emulate? Hit points is going to be straightforward. At level 1, you get your full hit die and hit points. So we get 8. For the 14 other levels that comprise her 15, she gets half plus 1 of her hit die. Her hit die is 8. Half of that is 4, plus 1 is 5. So we have 14 times 5. Then for every level, so all 15, she is going to get bonus hit points equal to her Constitution modifier. And in this case, that's going to be 1. So, here's our complex math. We have 15 plus 70 plus 8. So here we have our 78. So plus 5 is going to be 83, plus 10 is 93. She has 93 hit points, 18 AC, and she is not afraid to get up in your face. And her mace and her bite are both full of mercy. Like earlier, a saber-toothed tiger Pie said. Oh, I'm sorry if I missed that, Zuler Pie. Okay. So when she gets in the shapeshifted form, instead of getting that, the little anime, the cute anime girl, the one little snaggletooth, Um, she gets a snaggletooth, but whoo, you know that thing is that thing's a dagger in itself. Okay, we are almost complete. Let's see. This said that range from 5 to almost 7 feet tall, depending on their sub race. So we have a saber-toothed tiger. It's probably pretty big. Probably around. Let's use the height and weight of. Probably a half orc. Let's do this. 4'10", and we're gonna add 2d10 inches to her height. We're adding 12 inches, so she is 5 feet, 10 inches tall, and we're taking that same 12 and multiplying it by 2d6 by 6. So we're gonna add 72 pounds, and we're gonna add that to 140. And so she is going to be, I'm sorry, I said that was times 6, so that was 72. £212. Hey Zan, good to see you. Welcome. So this is her. You know, this is her when she wakes up in the morning, right? It's not her armor. She doesn't have any of her bonking sticks or whatever. She gets up, has breakfast, scratches her butt like anyone else, and this is where she stands. If you wish, I guess, as a character like this, I don't know if her mass would necessarily change, but maybe if you wanted to have something like a shifted height, and maybe your DM says, well, you always just grow a foot taller or something. Maybe when she shifts, she adds another foot, and she actually becomes 6 feet 10 inches tall. Stocky, well, look, diadems. She may be in culture and biologically, she is a young adult in shifter terms. So her family's obviously been taking care of her, right? They're predators. She's been eating her meat, drinking her milk. Maybe eating some veggies, or at least eating people who've ate veggies in their lifetime before. So yeah, she's a big girl, but look at, we're basing her off of a saber-toothed tiger. And she is, she's aggressive, right? She's a bounty hunter with a religious bend. Either looking to convert people, or tracking down heretics, or being an Inquisition force, things along those lines. She's a big girl, for sure. So here we go. We are almost complete. If we're going to attack with a cleric spell, you cast off of wisdom. So that's going to be a 4, and I hope you're proficient with spells as a cleric. 4 plus 5 is 9. At least last I looked. I don't know, new math and all. Here's a 9. If you are imposing a save on a target of your spell, add 8 to your attack modifier, and that is your spell save DC, or your difficulty class. So to resist her effects, you would need a 17 or higher on whatever save the spell called for. Similarly, let's come up here to weapons, which are going to be based off of strength. And you're going to find, look, 4 plus 5 is 9. We still have this same plus 9 to hit with strength-based weapons. Including when she's shifted, she can bite you and deal a 1d6. Her bite is dealing short sword damage. You also get bonus damage equal to your strength modifier. And there we go. Danny Stew, watching you create a character is surprisingly much more fun than trying to DM right now. Struggling to set up the world my players are in, even going off of a book, it's still pretty difficult. Well, Danny, thank you for joining us, and I'm glad that you're having fun watching or listening to our creation. If we can help you, as a DM, come up with ideas let us help you, please. Ask questions, seek guidance. Just because I'm doing a character creation tutorial doesn't mean that your questions and concerns don't come first. Danny, we're all just sitting down at a table in a game store. We're chatting, we're sharing stories, we're telling jokes, making puns, which I adore, and we're being D&D nerds. If we can help you, especially to be a DM, because I always want to empower as many DMs as possible, let us do so. Or if you just like sitting back and listening, you are welcome to lurk or just otherwise be a part of the channel in whichever way you want to be. And whether I'm online, broadcasting, or off, Danny, if you would like to join us on Discord, you are welcome to do so. And I'll show you here. We have it's a very well-populated Discord. We have an entire mentor network. You see up here? These are people who volunteer to step up. And if people like you have a question on mechanics, you need some writing or art inspiration, you want to learn how to stream better or something along those lines, you can pop in to our project workshop down here and ask a question, and you can tag a set of moderators, or not moderators, of mentors, and we can help you even when I'm not broadcasting. So in whichever way, Danny, is best for you to interact with us, I want you to do so, and anyone else who's out there. We keep things safe for work, PG-13 on the Discord, so you don't have to be kind of awkward about opening things up. And it's a very helpful community. If you do join, I ask that if your Discord name is different than your Twitch handle, that you change your Discord nickname to match your Twitch handle. And if you don't know how to do that, myself or another mod can do it for you. Oh, cool. All right. Well, word of mouth, you know what? Referrals are the best compliment that someone in a position like this can receive. So, Danny, thank Tommy for me. And thank you for following through on his recommendation. And I'm glad that we're meeting your expectations. So we had a 17 as a save, a +9 as an attack bonus with spells. Zan, thank you very much. I very much appreciate those bits. Keep up the good work. Yes, sir. I will do this. Look, I'm happy doing this. I love it. And I'm glad that I get to meet all of the people that I have. Of all your different backgrounds, your personal ones, not your D&D characters, your humor styles, your lifestyles, your interests, the things that you like and don't like. Hey, Pat, good to see you. You don't play 5e, but the community's worth hanging out with. Thank you for that sentiment. We can channel divinity 2 times per day. There we go. And going back quickly, at 15th level, we have spell slots of 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. All right, 2, 1, 1, and 1. The last bit to consider for this character are the number of spells that you can prepare. Your domain grants you spells that you can always have and do not count against this number of other prepared spells. The reason why we have this extra number is because clerics know every cleric spell that exists, because it reflects them waking up in the morning, praying for a miracle, saying, oh, my god or goddess, today we fight an evil dragon and I beg for your protection. Now we slot in a protection spell, etc. and so forth. So it's to reflect that you're really just asking for favors, that you might seek guidance or blessing over the course of the day in some way. So instead of just having the entire sheet listed, Every day, you can make your spell sheet look different with which spells you know and the number of spells in every slot you'd like. The number of spells you can prepare from the list of all cleric spells anyway, equals your cleric level, so 15, plus your wisdom modifier. Therefore, we can prepare 19 spells in addition to our domain spells. How you split those up is going to be up to you. If you want to go, I don't know, you want to put 3 different spells in your 8th, 7th, and 6th level slots that you can only cast one of, but you want the choice of diversity, do so. So there's 9, and then you split up the other 10 between the other 5 levels, and you just go 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Maybe you want that, you want to balance it out and get that variety. Maybe you want to super load up on 1st and 2nd level spells because you want to channel them through possibly higher level spell slots. And so it's actually more like 5 and 4, so your 9 are backloaded, and then you spread your other 10 through these 6 levels in some way. And you can switch it up every day however you'd like. Your cantrips do not change, however. So that's why I list them with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your cantrips are locked in, unless your DM says something different. But aside from that, you have 19 other spells that on any given day with this character as is, you can slot in anywhere you want that you can cast. Danny says, awesome, I've been playing for a couple of years now. This is my first time DMing. Everyone I've met in this community has been awesome, so I'm sure I'll have a great time in Discord. I hope that you do. We have some fun chat games, and we have some other things going on. We have our mentor workshop. It's a good place to hang out. We have some good safe for work RP memes. So if you want some jokes or inspiration, hopefully you find it in spades on our Discord. Let alone what you're seeing here broadcast. So, all right, dun da da da. We have our character. I mean, despite some details or a spell list, kind of a presumptive spell list, we have our character, Meryl Saberclaw, our Longtooth shifter, Cleric of Life, complete. I am going to be getting up and taking about a 10-minute break. You know, I'm going to refresh. You know, I'm going to get some ice water, get a snack and everything. And when we come back, we are going to make a Warforged character. A PC golem, right? Not G-O-L-L-U-M and you're after a ring. I don't know, maybe you would. Maybe you could be. A golem, G-O-L-E-M, made of metal and wood. You know, you're an automaton given sentience. And stick around and we'll find out what this unique race brings to the gaming table.